when you have the kind of wealth disparity we have in this country, where you go from a plutonomy to a plutocracy or oligarchy.
This is one thing I'll tell you about the Trump administration, which is totally different. Okay, I was a lifelong Democrat. Okay, I was a mega donor to the Democrats. Like dinner with Obama level donor. Okay, I couldn't get a fucking phone call return from the White House to save my life. The only thing that happened to me was I made an off-color comment about like something in China, and I had the Biden administration like basically say something, like essentially put out a press release, basically saying I was like, mean. That's all I got for millions of dollars. That, you know what I mean? Like,
for being honest.
I mean, I was like, hey man, there's like a lot of problems in America. Like, talk to me about the fentanyl crisis before we talk about everything else. Anyways, the Trump administration is totally different. There's not a single person there you can't get on the phone and talk to. I'll give you an example.
Okay, I stand corrected. Sorry, I gotta I have to give credit where credit is due. I'm sorry. Look, we're watching this together. One thing is that you're gonna get the full, authentic, and real me. Okay. I thought that we're gonna talk about tariffs. I didn't get this part in the podcast. Okay, like what is this, right? What's about to happen here? Okay, let's keep watching. And thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget that the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Okay, let's go back to this.
Example of this, a friend of mine's company was really impacted with these tariffs in a bad way. Okay, this is like a really amazing, legitimate American business, 150-year-old business, family owned, all this stuff. And I was able to call the deputy chief of staff and I said, hey, can you talk to the CEO and just so here on the ground? He's like instantly put me on the phone. My wife runs a pharmaceutical business, and we wanted to make sure that the administration understood like all the implications for rare diseases and orphan drugs. What happens if these tariffs like cripple the R&D budgets? Because there's 30 million Americans with rare diseases. Rare disease means it's not like diabetes or cancer. It's like 200,000 people or less. But there's 30 million of these Americans. 2/3 are kids. And the only companies that work on such small markets are these small biotech companies. And the tariffs create a lot of uncertainty. We were able to talk to all of them. They were like, explain the issue. I want to understand it. So this is what's also totally different, which I really give them a lot of respect. They are willing to debate it with you. You can pick up the phone and talk to these people.
You can.
I've never had that experience, guys. I mean, look, I was like
All right, pause it for 1 second. Pause it for 1 second. First off, the reason why you never had to pick up the phone and call the Biden administration to help kids with rare diseases is because the Biden administration didn't do this. The time maybe to have these conversations is before you do it and create a potential economy creating a decision. But
okay, first off, we didn't even need to go into the Biden administration. Like I'll even give Sam Seder the grace of saying like you got this one, bro. Like I can't even be mad at you for being mad, like because what I just heard here is, okay, this is the expert they brought in as the tariff expert. You see how all this stuff is connected? And what he is basically Trump's like, you know what I'm saying, is he's his cheerleader. He probably has government contracts for some of these H-1B1 visa people from India who's getting ready to come here. Like, let's keep it real. So that's why when you listen to that Andrew Schulz podcast where he's trying to explain tariffs and everything, and even myself, I'm like, what is this guy saying? Like, it doesn't make sense. And he's telling you how it's still going to be good. When he speaks, it sounds like you don't understand what he's saying. And it almost makes you question yourself, like, is something wrong with me? And it's like, no, he's just saying just enough to make it look like he's making a point, but he's not going to go against the Trump administration because he's working with the Trump administration. And so this is the person who's going to come and tell me that tariffs are good and it's going to be good for the American people. He doesn't care about the American people. He's going to have like his H-1B1 visa people there, wherever his businesses are, or robotics. These people do not care. And now because he has his relationship where it's like, those are my bros in the White House, Andrew Schulz now brings this person on the show to tell us everything is going to be okay. Okay.
That's just sort of secondary.
Yeah.
First off, who are those guys that are sitting on the couches who are not going, hey, wait a second. We accidentally discovered huge amount of corruption in our political system that you get access to the president when you want on demand if you give enough money.
That is Andrew Schulz's podcast, if I'm not mistaken, one of the guys that came out of the Rogan universe. And don't you think it's just fascinating that the extended Joe Rogan universe really involves interviewing billionaires and rich people, and for Rogan, occasionally literally CIA agents and government officials like Republicans? It's almost like they're not really talking about the true conspiracies in our society, which is like folks like this who can get on the call with the president and have the U.S. government bend to a rich guy's wishes. It's almost like they're selling that propaganda to their audience.
He is basically touting this administration because they're for sale. And it's an easy thing to do if you are a billionaire.
Yo, man, like, please, people, you are watching this, and I know that my audience, you know, God bless anybody who's watching, you know, or who's ran into this. More than likely, not my audience, the ears, whatever, you know, I want to be very, like, humble when I say these things because I don't like pretentious words like that, right? I know I don't like, you know, I've never met Sam Seder or Emma Vigeland. Their attitude sometimes on the show rub me the wrong way. You know, I get it. You know, your first thing is to cringe hardcore and say, well, I don't like Sam Seder, so he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's like, please, then close your eyes and pretend like it's somebody else. We need to stop doing this, okay? Because he's right, okay? I literally, both of them, they're right. I just explained the same thing, but the thing is, I explained it before I even ran into this episode, right? Like, I was saying when I was watching the episode, I said, okay, this guy's just here. After I watched the episode, I said, he's just here to make it seem like things are going to be okay. I don't know what he's saying, but he's not saying anything else. And then I always go back to the reason why we are all up in arms with China, and this is not going away, is because of the holding of the sale of these ports. China has stopped the sale of BlackRock acquiring C.K. Hutchinson from Hong Kong, which would give them access to 43 ports worldwide, especially the Panama Canal. We are waging a tariff war with China for BlackRock. That's really the answer, right? And I'm like, well, when are they going to get to that point? In the podcast, they never do. But I guess because I didn't watch that part, I missed this part right here. Because then I wouldn't even expect anything else but what we got. They're right.
That apparently you can buy influence and access, and there he is, and here we go.
And then also too, it's like with Elon. How many millions did Elon give Trump? And then he's doing Doge, slashed a bunch of stuff that, you know, now makes centralization much more easier. I don't want stuff centralized. You know, I heard somebody say something about free energy. Yeah, I don't want to get an electric bill. I said, yo, no, don't tell me the government is about to start giving free energy, because once we're there, I need to go find somewhere. Like, this is Haiti, straight up and down. You guys, I've been to another country. I see what happens when you get, okay, so this is not that episode. Let me just calm down.
Oops. I had that experience, guys. I mean, look, I was like a senior person at Facebook, could never get a meeting. I only met Obama once when he came to the thing.
Okay, all right, so you know what, because I think Akash accidentally asked a good question.
They'll debate it. That's like, it's totally different.
Sorry, devil's advocate. Should being a mega donor, I mean, I guess I get your point of view, but couldn't it also just be like, no, we're not going to be biased just because a person donated money. We're not going to just answer the phone whenever he calls.
You think I was
Hold on, pause that. There we go.
Hero.
Credit to that guy, devil's advocate. You know what? You're not being the devil's advocate. You're actually being the advocate
For the angels.
hundreds of millions of Americans who don't have $1 billion so that they can basically spend as much as like someone would on a used car relative to their, or maybe even less, frankly, at this point, and then buy access and then complain and cry about it.
Right. All right. I take back my my critiques of the podcast. If this guy's
No. That's Akash, okay? I hate that these people bite their nose. Akash would ask that question because he's looking like, hey, wait a second. And he's thinking it like, wait, what? Is this what y'all do? Like, y'all give out these billions and y'all just call presidents? Like, word? Like you were big mad because, like, Obama, like, actually for a second doesn't look corrupt and didn't pick up the phone for you? Like, you was like, damn. Like, word, that's how that goes.